I've been in this business, this is my 30th year in the business. And I've been studying and trying to figure out and answer the question for a long time. Why do some brands succeed while others fail when you look at them on paper or in person and there's so much similarity? There's so much, they both got great teams, great products, great energy, money, all the things that they need. Why does one brand succeed and another one fail? It's a bit of mad science. It's a bit of just of creative strategy. You know, one of the challenges that so many emerging brands have is money. Another one is time. And another one's the tolerance that they have for risk or failure. But yet at the same time, the things that they need to have include insight, learnings, understanding their consumer. How do you do that? You can't go out and buy a lot of consumer syndicated data. You don't have the money. You can't do a lot of consumer focus groups. How do you do that? You growth hack. And so what I thought today I would do is try to walk you through the elements of growth hacking in a omni-channel world. So what's the key ingredient? Empathy, okay? So we're talking about experimental design, we're talking about being a mad scientist, and then I'm switching more to a social science concept, which is empathy. Branding is really, it's a verb, and it's really the activity of aligning what you want people to think about your brand with what they actually think about your brand. So you want to understand their needs, wants, fears, aspirations. So those are buying triggers. Those are brand triggers. It's an emotional connection. Because understanding those triggers is understanding how to reach them and how to drive discovery, which we'll talk about. The secret sauce to a good growth hacking experiment is to locate the point where the need is most acute or the problem most pronounced. If you can solve that, you solve one of the fundamental challenges that we all face in this business, and that's discovery. What channel seems to drive the most? Where do we get the most attention? Is it e-com? Is it brick and mortar retail? Is it alternative channels like college campus bookstores or Google Campus? You're still facing the same fundamental battle: is how do I get my products found? How do I get them tried? And how do I get them to buy it again? And that's where growth hacking comes in. Do you go narrow or broad? You should always be able to say, listen, I've just proven these things. Now I'm going to pour the resources, both capital and human, against them, and I'm going to scale the crap out of this, right? Any growth plan, it is a hypothesis, okay? It is a guess. So understanding your go-to-market economics is vital. So this includes understanding your own cost of goods and what it takes to get the product to the consumer and into the consumer's hands and stomachs. Everything from distribution to fulfillment rates to volume on deal, things along those lines. So one of my favorite experiments is this concept called concentric circles. But concentric circles all come back to empathy. So the goal is to be where that need is most acute and the problem most pronounced. Okay? That is the objective of a concentric circle experiment. So I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to pick an item, fictitious item, breakfast bites. But I want to walk you through what it would look like if we tried to take it through a growth hacking process. What's hard about breakfast for all of us? It's confusing. We've got all these different messages. So let's say, we recognize that there's a great opportunity here in the Bay Area. So we're going to try to hit where they live, where they play, where they share locations, which are events and yoga studios and places like that. And then we're going to craft the assumptions and the time frames for that. So where we're going to be in terms of velocities, revenue, all the things we talked about, and by when, right? So all of that's going to be mapped out. And the first things to do is where they look at their business by assessing and positioning it, by going through a growth hack process and then scaling go-to-market, and then getting plugged into the ecosystem and instilling organizational accountability. But understand what portion of the market you're really going after. So there's a lot of money and buckets to fill from the time your product is made to the time you get your final proceeds from it, is you're challenging yourself and asking, are we really investable? It does not matter what we think our brand is. What matters is what our consumers think it is. And we need to understand that. If it's not what we want to be, then we need to think about how we change. Or if the consumers see us differently, we have to think maybe we need to change. The reality is you don't get the opportunity oftentimes as a smaller brand to invest in a lot of consumer research. So growth hacking is a way of real live consumer research. And so now you have the fundamental information you need to really detail out your sales strategy, your marketing and PR, your trade plan, your pricing architecture, and then you could put together really clear revenue velocity distribution forecast for 12, 24, and 36 months. And then the last part of that path that I want to talk about is something that we don't talk enough about, I think. This business, no brand really succeeds here in this space unless they're hoisted on the shoulders of others. And then this is the other thing. I would recommend that everyone in this room develop OKRs for their business, if you haven't. I would set up weekly accountability calls with everybody you're surrounding yourself with. And this especially is true when you're doing the experimentation. So right now, the way you're driving discovery and the way you're doing it is through SEO and through paid ads, all of the things that are part of our normal bag of tricks, which is great and necessary. But you can use brick and mortar as that discovery means for online. We've got sales activity and we've got marketing activity, okay? But the truth of the matter is they're really interwoven. There are ways to market that actually pays for itself. Giving them product at a very reduced rate, or you're giving them product, just to try, that could be interesting. And again, the thing about growth hacking is this could be minute, this could be tiny, this could be, I'm just going to grab some bars, I'm going to go to these 3 places and say, hey, would you put them in here for a week and just give me they're free. Put them in here in a week, just put them on, merchandise them here, sell them for this price, and I'll come back in a week and just get feedback from you. Give them, go out, do it, come back in a week and see what happens and see what those results are. That's a growth hack. You have to kind of put a stake in the ground. And those are the kind of things that you can do very quickly, very nimbly, and very effectively and learn. So, thank you.